Okay, so third, you just need to know what is the achievement. Okay, so first plan it is 3.6, then it is increased. Now third plan. So 61 to 66, 1961 to 66. So here, what was the focus? So the first one, agriculture. Second, industry. Here, third one, self-reliance on food grains. Right, focus, self-reliance on food grains. Okay, see here when we are giving focus on not agriculture, it is in related to food grain. It is not opposite to the second plan's objective. Actually, it is in consonance with the second plan only. How we can say it is together or consonance with the second plan? The idea is if you can ensure, self-reliance in food grain, then you can stop importing food grain, and you can use the forex for what? Importing machines. So it is actually in consonance with the second 5-year plan only. Okay, so if you need to focus on industries, you need technology, and you don't have technology and you need to import. So that is essential. So if you can achieve self-sufficiency or self-reliance in food grain, then that money you can use for importing exports. Okay, so here there were many agricultural development programs. Okay, but you will see two wars here, 1962 with China, 1965 with Pakistan, and 3 years of drought that was more devastating. And I've told you, more than the two wars, the drought was the main problem and people were dying. Okay, and at that time from US side also we are facing the threat that they stopped exporting food to us under PL 480 scheme. We stopped getting the food packets, and we didn't have even money also to buy food. Okay, so this year was a worst year. So the target was more than 4%, but the actual achievement was even less than the first 5-year plan. So it was 2.8%. So why it was less? You have to know the reasons. There were two wars, 1962 with China, 65 with Pakistan, and also there was a 3-year devastating drought. Okay, so that's the third 5-year plan, 2.8%. Then we had a plan holiday, 3 years annual plans was there, and we went for green revolution. And green revolution is based on HYV seeds we have discussed. From where we have discussed it, from Mexico imported, and who made it, or who's the person behind this? Norman Borlaug, and it was implemented under Mr. Swaminathan in India. So production increased, productivity increased, profitability increased. Okay, intensity of cropping increased, like 3 crops per year, etc. And a lot of obvious issues are there, but the good thing is that we achieved food security or self-reliance or self-sufficiency in food grain. Okay, next one, fourth plan. So this is what we have discussed: 1, 2, 3 plans, then 3-year gap. So what was the first plan? 1951 to 56, the focus agriculture. Then 56 to 61, focus industry, Mahalanobis model. Third one, 61 to 66, okay, focus self-reliance on food grain. It is in consonance with the second one only. Then 3-year plan holiday, and we went for green revolution, etc. So now fourth plan, 1969 to 74. So this is actually coming after the plan holiday. So focus, you can write focus, growth with price stability and self-reliance in forex. Growth with price stability and self-reliance in forex. So yesterday when we discussed about the objectives of planning, there also I have told you the 4 main objectives. In that we have discussed about self-reliance on forex, technical know-how, right, food grain, and I have told you specifically which 5-year plans focusing on that. So there when we discussed about forex, I have told you there's a 4th plan which is focusing more on forex. So here, if you are focusing more on forex, what type of policies you will see here? Export promotion policies are initiated. Export promotion policies are initiated. So in 1973-74, there was an NSSO data. As per the NSSO data, the poverty ratio, the poverty rate or the poverty ratio was 55%. Okay, so what does this indicate? More than half of the people are poor, right? More than half of the people are poor. See, it is from 51 to it is 73. Almost how many years? 22 years. Planning Commission is there, planning is there. But still, Planning Commission is not able to solve this problem. Or you can say the planning is not working. Or you can say the trickle down is not working, right? Because our approach is based on trickle down. So trickle down is not working because it has failed to meet the social objectives. Okay, so Planning Commission also accepted that it failed in social objective. That trickle down has not happened. So now we need direct effort to eliminate poverty, right? So Planning Commission or trickle down is not happening. So you can see from here different other schemes will come, and in fact this has actually happened during the time of Indira Gandhi only. So this report also came and she used it for her own advantage, and she went for a election campaign by saying Garibi Hatao, okay, poverty should be removed, and she was able to win also election. Okay, so that was the case that I need to tell you, that trickle down never worked out. Trickle down, if need to work out, it will take time. So even the Planning Commission also accepted the fact that the approach is not correct to remove poverty or to solve the problem with poverty. This rate is very important for you. Okay, so you can see from here onwards various specific programs you will see, like wage employment program, self-employment program. Okay, during rolling plan especially you will see these programs. We will discuss that soon, right? The growth achieved is 3.3% during this plan. The growth achieved is 3.3%. Now fifth one. So fifth plan, from 74 to 79. And I've told you here, right, it was terminated in 78 when Janata Party came to power. So effectively this plan is from 74 to 78. Okay, so the focus was, as I've told you, in 1973 the NSSO data, it was so high, the poverty 55% is so high. So here what should be the focus? This is how you need to connect everything, right? So this data you connect, and then what should be the focus here? Now you can tell, right? It is a removal of poverty. So focus is removal of poverty, and you will see minimum needs program here. Okay, and the growth achieved is 4.8%. 4.8%. Now rolling plan. So 78 to 80 it is rolling plan. So how is it? 78 to 83, then 79 to 84, 80 to 85. But when we talk only this 2 years, actually Janata Party was in power. And from 80 onwards the normal 5-year plan resumed. Okay, so you can write rolling plan 78 to 80. So during this time you will see some new schemes were introduced, like poverty alleviation and employment generation program. Okay, the main first one is actually wage employment program. Wage employment program, there are two types, wage employment program and self-employment program. So under wage employment program in 1978, food for work program. Food for work program. Okay, see in your module on black money, I have already updated in the application. So actually there I have covered all the welfare and the developmental programs. There is a lengthy video, 2.5 video, so that I have completely covered all the developmental programs. You can just go through that when you have time. Okay, so 78, this food for work program. So it is actually the first program by the central government. In fact, state Maharashtra also had some employment generation program, but the importance of this is actually, this is by far the first one from the central government, okay, in this context. Second, you can write self-employment program. Self-employment program. So self-employment means what? You will be providing the training. First you need to train the individual, and you need to also give finance. so that he can find some employment, his own. So self-employment. Okay, and in that context you can write, then in 1978 IRDP, this is one of the big program, Integrated Rural Development Program. Integrated Rural Development Program. So this I will discuss after some time. Integrated Rural Development Program. Before MG and REGA, this was the most or the biggest program actually. Okay, so now after this rolling plan, you have sixth plan. So sixth plan, again when the Congress come back to power in 1980, so it will be from 80 to 85. Okay, so Congress actually terminated the rolling plan, like Janata Party terminated the 5-year plan and started rolling plan. Here this Congress terminated the rolling plan and started the 5-year plan. So what is the focus here? Focus, you can write modernization, poverty alleviation, employment generation. Modernization, the idea of modernization is basically, the main idea is basically to improve productivity. Especially which productivity? Industrial productivity. Okay, so in that context some other programs also we need to discuss, like industry. You can write under that, under modernization maybe you can write to improve productivity. You can write industrial policy liberalized. Industrial policy statement 1980 released. Industrial policy statement 1980 was released. Licensing norms were relaxed. See, industrial policy 1980, industrial policy statements, everything we will discuss under the chapter of industry. Okay, so you can see during this time huge investment in PSUs also. Efficiency was very low, so to improve efficiency, that is the reason, that is what we are actually talking from the perspective of modernization. Then what? Poverty alleviation. Then employment generation. So here industrial policy statement and the licensing norms were actually relaxed, like broadbanding, right? Broadbanding means there is no need to take multiple license for the same company. If you have, let's suppose you have a license for two-wheeler, there is no need to take license for scooter and motorcycle, or the normal cycle, right? Or scooter and motorcycle. There is no need to take separate license for that. That is what you mean by broadbanding. We will discuss this in detail. If you have license for two-wheeler, you can manufacture scooter as well as motorcycle also, gear and the gearless also. Apart from that, MRTP Act, FERA Act, we will discuss all these. All these liberalized. Minor liberalization, but liberalized. Major liberalization you will see after the LPG. Okay, so you can say this is actually the takeoff period. Okay, industrial growth actually increased, and this is actually the takeoff period. Second, you can say R&D, research and development. So here, if you remember when we discussed about objectives, I have told you technology self-reliance, right? Technical know-how, and I have told you this 5-year plan. So you can write in bracket technology self-reliance. Self-reliance on technical know-how. Third one, introduction of computers, telecommunications, etc. Okay. Now apart from this, there are poverty alleviation and employment generation programs. Like the other two objectives, other two focuses related to poverty and employment, right? So poverty alleviation and employment generation. 1978, we have already discussed about which one? Food for Work program, right? This was extended and renamed it as NREP, National Rural Employment Program. Okay, and in 1983, RLEGP, Rural Landless Employment Guarantee Program. So not across India, some districts, here also some districts. Now 1978 we have discussed something IRDP, right? So it is not changed the name, it remained the same. but extended to all districts and implemented in entire country. Okay, and after
second 1983
Rural Landless Employment Guarantee Program, employment generation program only for rural landless, IRDP Integrated Rural Development Program. So before MGNREGA, see, we will discuss all these in detail later in the chapter of developmental programs. We will discuss that. In fact, I have already done that chapter separately done without any noise or any issues, yeah, that you can watch. And that chapter I won't be taking live, black money chapter. Okay, so anytime you need to, that is mains part mainly, you need to refer that. So IRDP, here the last 5-year plan, did I discussed about the growth? 4.8% did I told you? Plan 5, it was 4.8%. Okay, so here it is 5.7%. 5.7%. Now 7th. So 7th is from 85 to 90. Okay, so the focus here is productivity, food and work. Okay, tell me, what was the focus before?
modernization.
Modernization is connected to this, right? I've told you modernization is connected to productivity. Then poverty. So can you say it is connected to food only? Mainly, that time it was in terms of calorie intake, right? And then employment means work. So is it the same? Focus is actually the same only, right? Yes or no? So 6 and 7, the focus is same. It is ultimately productivity, poverty and employment. Correct, no? So here also you will see almost the same policies extended, and NREP and RLEGP, Rural Landless Employment Guarantee Program, National Rural Employment Program, these two have actually merged to Jawahar Rozgar Yojana. In 1985, one more program, Indira Awas Yojana. Just write down these programs only. We will have to make a separate discussion for this. 85, Indira Awas Yojana. Here the growth is 6%. See, here now if you see from the growth perspective from the last year and even before also, if you combine, the growth actually increased, right? So the growth accelerated, but the problem is macroeconomic situations are deteriorated here. BOP crisis, main problem now is BOP crisis. So there is no forex, so the chances of default is more. So the government is actually went for plan holiday, and plan holiday announced. So from 90 to 92, this is plan holiday. So it is mainly because of BOP crisis. Now I will briefly tell you what are the causes of the crisis. So when you talk about the causes, we can divide this into domestic as well as external. Both are there. So from the domestic causes, you can say firstly high inflation.